In the tapestry of history, few names echo through time with the same piercing clarity as that of Niccolò Machiavelli. His name alone conjures a sense of power, strategy, deception, and brutal realism. To think like Machiavelli is to abandon illusions, to see the world not as it should be, but as it is. In his seminal work, The Prince, Machiavelli did not merely theorize. He provided a mirror to the darker corridors of human nature and offered a ruthless, yet practical guide to power. Thinking like Machiavelli is not about cruelty. It is about clarity. It is not about manipulation. It is about mastery. Mastery of the self, of others, and of the volatile forces that govern the rise and fall of leaders. In this exhaustive exploration, we will delve deep into 9 foundational laws distilled from the Prince, not as isolated quotes or romanticized ideologies, but as raw, unfiltered principles applicable even today. We will walk the tightrope between perception and truth, ethics and efficiency, principle and pragmatism. Let us begin with the mind of Machiavelli, the mind forged in the crucible of Renaissance Italy, a time of political upheaval, betrayal, assassination, and cunning. Born in Florence in 1469, Machiavelli lived through turbulent times. Empires rose and crumbled like houses of cards. Florence was caught between foreign invasions and internal decay. This instability, this chaos, carved his philosophy. He understood one thing above all: survival demands adaptation, and power demands clarity of vision. To think like Machiavelli, one must discard modern moral niceties. Morality, for him, was a tool, useful only when it served power. He urged the prince to be both lion and fox, strong and cunning. Let us now submerge into the essence of his thinking, the 9 unshakable laws that reveal how power is obtained, maintained, and expanded. Law 1. Power is perception. Machiavelli understood that power is not merely what one holds, but what others believe one holds. A prince must not only be strong, he must appear invincible. Perception governs allegiance. If people believe you are decisive, capable, and dangerous when necessary, they will follow or fear you. He famously wrote, "Men in general judge more from appearances than from reality. All men have eyes, but few have the gift of penetration." Thinking like Machiavelli means engineering your image constantly. You must guard your reputation like a fortress. Build myths around yourself if necessary. Let your strengths be seen and your weaknesses be hidden. Even your virtues must be calculated, not genuine, but useful. The prince must be a master of optics. Law 2. Be feared, not hated. While Machiavelli understood the value of love, he knew it was fickle. Fear, however, binds deeper. He wrote, "It is much safer to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." But he warned, do not be hated. Hatred invites revenge. Fear brings respect. To apply this law is to walk a razor's edge. Punishments must be swift, justified, and necessary. Never indulge in cruelty, but do not shy from it when order or authority demands it. Compassion without control leads to chaos. The prince must be cold when needed, warm when it suits, and always calculating. Never allow pity to cloud judgment. Law 3. Stability is built on control. Machiavelli did not believe in harmony through idealism. Peace and order are products of force, structure, and vigilance. A prince must take control quickly after conquest. He must eliminate rivals immediately, instill laws rapidly, and centralize power. Chaos is the enemy of authority. When you gain power, do not hesitate. Delay invites disorder. Control must be asserted fully before it can be lightened. This law is about momentum. Machiavelli advised new princes to either inhabit the land themselves or place loyalists in power. Do not let the conquered region retain power centers that can resist you. Thinking like Machiavelli demands swift dominance, followed by careful integration. Law 4. Popular support is strategic, not sentimental. Machiavelli knew the masses are a fickle tide. Their support is useful, but not to be relied upon emotionally. The prince must maintain their favor, but never become their servant. He wrote, "A wise prince should establish himself on that which is in his own control and not in that of others." To think like Machiavelli here is to view popularity as a tool, not a validation. Win the people's favor through calculated generosity, public spectacle, and visible justice, but never at the expense of your own authority. If you must raise taxes, do it through ministers so they take the blame. If you grant mercy, make it public and personal. Be loved as a symbol, not as a man. Law 5. Morality is a weapon, not a compass. Machiavelli separated private virtue from political necessity. The prince must not be bound by conventional morality. He must appear virtuous, merciful, honest, religious. But behind the curtain, he must be ruthless when required. Hypocrisy is not sin, it is strategy. If a lie serves peace or consolidates power, it is a tool. If a betrayal avoids a civil war, it is justified. Machiavelli would not advise immorality for its own sake, but rather flexibility and morality to serve the state. A prince never lacks legitimate reasons to break his promise. In our world, where virtue is displayed for likes and shares, to think like Machiavelli is to understand that virtue without power is decoration. Real power adapts its values to suit the situation. Law 6. Adapt or perish fortune or fortuna was a goddess to Machiavelli. Unpredictable, wild, and dangerous. He believed that while fortune controls half of our actions, the other half is within our grasp. The prince must be bold, decisive, and adaptive. He must not wait for the tide to favor him. He must build dams, dig channels, and redirect the river. When times change, tactics must evolve. A strategy that brought victory yesterday may lead to downfall today. Success breeds complacency. Adaptability breeds survival. Machiavelli warned that a prince who rigidly clings to one way of ruling will fail when the winds shift. The world belongs to the bold. Law 7. Crush your enemies completely. Machiavelli echoed the ancient wisdom of crushing threats at the root. Half measures are dangerous. Leaving an enemy wounded is leaving a future problem. He advised princes to destroy rival families and power centers entirely after conquest. If you cannot convert your enemy, eliminate them. Mercy that allows vengeance is foolish. This is not cruelty. It is preventative realism. When power is on the line, there can be no sentimentalism. Mercy should be for the weak. For potential threats, finality is safety. Law 8. Avoid being despised or ridiculed. A prince may be feared, but he must never be despised. Mockery, contempt, and public disrespect erode authority. Machiavelli emphasized maintaining a dignified image. Incompetence invites ridicule. Weakness invites rebellion. The prince must avoid effeminacy, indecisiveness, and extravagance. He should appear firm, controlled, and reserved. His inner circle should be disciplined. His speech must be measured. Public image is not vanity. It is armor. Ridicule makes tyrants fall. Respect keeps enemies cautious and followers loyal. Law 9. Keep your hands clean. This final law ties all others together. A prince must commit dark deeds, but rarely with his own hands. When cruelty is necessary, delegate it. Let ministers be the face of unpopular actions. When generosity or forgiveness is offered, it should come directly from the prince. Machiavelli understood public psychology. Scapegoats preserve the ruler's image. Public hangings of corrupt ministers make the prince appear just. Do not be the villain unless it is absolutely necessary. Create distance between the necessary evil and your image. The prince is the architect, but he must not appear the executioner. To think like Machiavelli is to awaken to a truth most fear to admit. The world is not governed by justice, but by power. It is not shaped by fairness, but by will. The prince does not offer a moral blueprint. It offers survival. In politics, in leadership, and even in personal ambition, these laws whisper through time. Machiavelli wrote not for saints, but for survivors. He did not aim to please, but to prepare. In an age of deception, his truths remain sharp. In an era of illusion, his clarity remains rare. To think like Machiavelli is to think ahead, to see beneath the surface, to master emotion rather than be mastered by it. It is to walk with shadows, but cast one longer than any light. So heed these whispers. Let them guide you not to cruelty, but to command, not to despair, but to dominance. Let them carve out in you a mind that bends before nothing, not because it is harsh, but because it understands. And in the silence of power, where masks fall and empires rise or crumble, there you will hear them again.